Hi, this is Krista at the Secret Yarnery. Welcome to our Nemesis pillow tutorial crochet along, part 2, where we're making this awesome back. So grab what yarn you have left and your same hook and let's get started. So for part 2 of our Nemesis Sunburst Granny Square pillow, we need the same yarns we were working on, whatever you have left. We are going to try to finish it up with just this yarn and not need any more, depending on our luck. We're just going to rotate rows, so pick whatever color you want to start with. I suggest whatever color you have the least of, I think these are my least, use those sooner, and the colors that you have the most of, use later. The amount of yarn you're going to need for your rows is going to increase as your square increases. So keep that in mind and let's get started. So to make the back of the Nemesis Sunburst Granny Square pillow, we're just going to make one big granny square. So to start that, we're just going to make a slip knot and put that on your hook. And chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Put your hook back into the center of that first chain you made. So it's on your hook. And then I lay my tail down so it's behaving. And I pinch underneath there with my thumb and my finger, just so I can hold that spot open as I slip stitch to close, like that. So I'm still pinching right there in the middle. You can kind of see where it is. Chain 3, 1, oop, both strands of yarn please. Chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and make a double crochet right into the center where you're holding it with your thumb and your finger. So 1 double crochet and 1 more double crochet. So that's a chain 3 and 2 double crochets. So that's your first shell and the first side of your granny. Chain 2. So back into that center, we're going to do 3 more double crochets. So wrap your yarn and make your double crochets, 2 and 3, chain 2, 1, 2, push your stitches back a little, so you just pinch your ring, give those a tug back so you get some more space on your ring, and 3 more double crochets, 1, 2, 3. So see how we've gotten 3 sides of our square already. Push those stitches back a bit. Chain 2, 1, 2, and 3 more double crochets into the center of the ring for our last side of our square. There's 2 and 3. To join, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to single crochet to the top of this chain 3. So just push your hook in. You want to get 2 loops on your hook and bring your yarn back and single crochet. So wrap your yarn and take off both loops. And now you can kind of hold your corner open. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Turn your work and 2 double crochets into this first spot, this first corner, and that makes half of this corner, 1 and 2, like that. Now we're going to jump over to the next corner over here and make a corner. So wrap your yarn, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, push your stitches back, 3 more double crochets into the same corner. 2, 3. Wrap your yarn into the next corner. We're doing the same thing. So 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet. And all your corners are going to be like that. Chain 2 and 3 more double crochets into the same spot. There we go. Jump over to the next corner, which is over here. So 3 double crochet, 2, 3, chain 2, and then when these tails become annoying to you, just cut them off because we went over them in the beginning. So I did my 3 double crochet and my chain 2, so push your stitches back and 3 more double crochets into the same spot, 2 and 3. Now it looks a bit funny because we just did half a corner here, so we're going to go over into this space and finish. But when yours looks funny, it looks easy to just keep going around in a spiral, and we don't want to do that. So keep an eye on this. You could have also used a stitch marker, which I'm sure I have a million, but you can also put a stitch marker in there when you begin, so you know where you need to put in your last corner. We'll do that from now on so you can see. But just keep a mind on that. And into the next spot, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now I'm finished with this color. I'm just going to do 2 rows of each color. So now I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to slip stitch to join. So into the top of that chain 3, 2 loops on my hook. I don't know why that chain is so tiny. Grab my yarn and bring it back. And slip stitch to join. Chain 1, cut my yarn, pull your hook up and your yarn through, and tug this down to secure. Now these tails go around this corner here, so when you do your next corner you're going to put 6 double crochets there, so that's really going to hold it in. So it's going to go like that. There we go. You can bring it back if you want, but I think it'll be fine. So now pick your next color. Oops. Yikes. I'm going to use yellow next. So I'm not going to join in this corner. I'm going to join in the previous corner. So put your hook in. Loop a yarn on your hook, bring it through, slip stitch with both to join, drop your tail and chain 2 more, 1 and 2. So that counts as your first double crochet, and 2 more double crochets into that corner space, 1 and 2. So that counts as 3 double crochets. Because we changed yarn, we don't need to put a stitch marker here, but the next round we will. And if you're not changing color, put a stitch marker. So into the space over here, 3 double crochets into your side space. No chaining in between. The only chaining we're doing is in our actual corner. So there's 3 double crochets. And then into our next corner, we're going to do a corner. So 3 double crochets, and I'm going over that tail so I can cut it off. Oops. 3 double crochets, chain 2, push your stitches back, 3 more double crochets into that same corner, into the side, just 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Into the corner, we're going to do a corner, so 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. You can push your stitches back if you need to. Give them a little tug. Into the side spot, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Into the corner, you do a corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. Into the side, 3 double crochets, and now we're in our first corner where we started, so I'm going to finish this corner with 3 double crochets into the same space. 1, 2, and 3. And because I'm doing 2 rows of each color, I'm going to be continuing my color. So I'm going to chain 1 and then single crochet to join. So into that top of the chain 3, single crochet. And that just leaves us kind of in the center of that corner, so we can hide our join. You won't see a chain going up. Chain 3, 2, 3, turn your work. And we're also turning our work each row so that our square stays square and grows as a square. If we don't change, switch directions or turn our work, each row kind of turns a bit more like that. So it looks it doesn't look totally straight when you look at the big square. So that's why we're turning our work. It's optional, it'll still work if you don't turn, but to you. So 2 more double crochets into that corner, and now continue going around. The only difference on this round, and we can put our stitch marker in also. I get one that shows up. I like to put it into the space of where I need to put my corner. So now I know when I come around, that is the spot I need to put my corner. So now I keep going. This round, the only difference is you have 2 spaces on each side, and into each space on each side you need to put 3 double crochets. It doesn't matter how big your square is, the side spots are always 3 double crochets, and the corners like this are always 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. So keep working your way around, and I will meet you when we join this round. Now I've come around to my stitch marker, and remember I put it into the spot, so I know I have to put my hook right into where my stitch marker is and make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. I can take my stitch marker out, and I'm finished with this yellow color now, so I'm going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join. Chain 1, cut your yarn, pull your hook up and your yarn through, and snug this down to secure. And you can do your tail a little bit around this corner also before you get going too far, just so you remember it. Poke it back the other way. There. I'm leaving these tails for now so that I know, like, I'm going to have all my tails on one side of my work, and that is just going to help me know what is my good side. Even though both sides are the same, because we're flipping our work, we're turning our work each row. I just want to know where my ends are going to be. But technically you could cut those off right now because you worked over them. So next color. So you can join in any corner, but I'm just going to join into the corner previous to my last join, just to even it out. And I've turned my work. So you know you're going into the other side, because on the edge, where the row that you've just worked on, you can see these little V's are curved towards you. So you know that this is the way you were working on it before. So when you're joining your next color, make sure you don't see the V's. You see, like, I call it macaroni, but you just see like kind of the messy, well, the back of the last row you did. So this is the bad side. That's the good side, because you can see those V's. Not the most important thing, but always good to be consistent, if and when you can. So put your hook into the space, put a loop of your yarn on your hook, pull it through and slip stitch with both to join. Drop your tail and chain 2, 1 and 2. So that counts as your first double crochet, and 2 more double crochets into the same corner spot, 1 and 2. Drop your tails and keep going now, doing your shells. So on this row, every row you gain an extra side shell or an extra space to build a shell. So on this round we have 3 spots to build our shells, and shells are sets of 3 double crochet. So you're just going to go across, and whatever's on the side of your work is a side, and whatever is pointy is the corner. And you should only have 4 corners. Unless, of course, you're doing something else. So keep working your way around, and I'll meet you at the join. So at the join, chain 1 and single crochet to the top of that chain 3, which I cannot see, but I am going to guess. I know where it should be. Single crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, turn your work. I do 2 double crochets straight away, 1 and 2, and now grab your stitch marker and put it in that corner space where you're going to finish that corner, just so you can see it when you come around. And I'll go ahead and finish this row, and I'll meet you when you get back to here. So I've gotten back to my stitch marker. So I'm going to finish my 3 double crochets into that same spot. 2, 3. And because I'm finished with this color, I'm going to chain 2 and slip stitch to join. Oops, lost my yarns. There we go. There we go. Slip stitch to join, chain 1 and cut your yarn. Pull your hook up and your loop out and snug down to secure. This tail also we can just work in a little bit back around that corner, because that is going to help us not have to do our ends, which obviously is the main goal. Okay, there we go. So now we're ready to join our next color, and it just keeps working up the same way. So now just keep working, adding 2 rows of whatever yarn you want to use next. And I just want to show you how to measure it, how to make sure it's the right size. The simple thing to do is just put your front panel down and then pop this one on top. And then you're like, oh yeah, look, same size. And this has another row on it. This has a row of double crochet going all the way around. But how I like to measure to make sure that it is the right size and I'm going to have the same stitches when I'm joining them together is to make sure I have the same stitches when I'm joining them together. So I'm going to line up, let me zoom in a bit. I'm going to line up this corner of my back. So I'm going to put my little finger in this one and into the green. I'm ignoring this blue row. We're pretending that's not there. We're going to measure it against the granny square to granny square. So these 3 clusters, easy, and then the 3 clusters on that side. So those line up. Next 3, next 3, 3, 3, right? 3 and 3, 3 and 3 gets you to the corner. But now remember we did this join, and at the join that counts, the join itself counts as 1 shell because we made those stitches to be 3 stitches. So this join gets 1 cluster. So from one corner and then 3 stitches to get to the other corner. So that's an adding of a cluster. And then just keep lining up your sets of 3 for your granny squares across. To this side. So now we're in this corner. Well, not corner. Well, I guess it's kind of a corner, but the join. So the join gets an entire shell because up top we're going to need those stitches to line up here. So that is 3 stitches, and then keep going, dividing your 3 and 3, and I have 2 shells left, so I need to do 1 more round because there will be 1 shell on this side and 1 shell over here. So that if there's 2 shells left, that means you need 1 more round. So I finished this last round, or it's not the last round, but I completed the round I was on. So I know I need to add 6 stitches. So what I'm going to do is, so that my back panel doesn't get too much bigger than my front panel, but keep the same stitch count, is this round I am going to make it into my double crochet round. So now I'm in my corner space. I'm going to do 2 double crochets. I'm not turning my work this round because this is going to be my last round of double crochets for my back panel. So 2 double crochets into that same corner space, and then 1 double crochet into each stitch going back. And that first one is that weird little chain, so I'm just going to go into that hole right there. So that one gets a double crochet, and then each stitch going back 1 double crochet, and I'll meet you at the next corner. So my last double crochet before the corner, and then into the corner I'm going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and a chain 2, although I probably could just do a chain 1. and 3 more double crochets into that corner. You can push your stitches back if you need more space so they all sit in that corner. You want to be able to get at that first double crochet, so you don't want your stitches covering that up. But now my first double crochet is right there. I can totally see it. That guy. So 1 double crochet into each double crochet of the previous round. Repeat this going all the way around your work, and I'll meet you at the join. So in the corners, instead of chaining 2, I think a chain 1 works nicer, my opinion. Up to you, but I just did a chain 1. To join, I'm also going to do a chain 1 and a slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to join, and a chain 1 to secure. Cut your yarn, pull your hook up and your yarn out, and you finished your back panel. So we have finished our back. Super excited about it. Don't worry if it's a little bit of a different size than mine's a little bit smaller than my front panel. But remember, the front panel is going to get stretched where it's dinged in, so it's kind of like not blocked, I guess is how you'd say it properly. So it's totally going to fit. We have the same number of stitches on each side, so when we're joining, it's going to join beautifully, and that is what we want. And that's what we're doing in part 3. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and share. And thanks so much for watching. Stay hooked.